Good morning, Canadian Yarn Market. My name is Alyssa, and here today I have a few things I'm going to be doing. Here is an update with the Lion brand respun 100% polyester yarn. I didn't get a huge amount done, but it is getting there. So that's what that is, and that's what I'll be doing for the rest of the day after the video. However, there are a few things that I would like to show. This is a little tip that I have for when you get a crochet hook set, and the set has just a light black marked out what size it is. What I like to use is nail polish, clear nail polish. So I'm going to bring it in. Down a bit, and then just try this awkwardly, but you just paint on a little bit. And I have a set that I bought about 6 years ago that I found the other day. I'll do this again. Just paint it on. And you can clearly see that there is nail polish on it, but you can still very much read the markings. So there it is. And now you've minimally marked it, but you will have that on there for as long as you need. Now today I'm going to be making a very simple hand towel. I've shown them before, so today we're going to make it. I am going to switch over to my overhead rig, so bear with me and I will be back in a minute. Alright, now that we're set up, leave them for about, you want to leave them for about 20 minutes, and after about 20 minutes you can use them. But I'm going to use this current hook, so it's a 4mm. You can do 3.5. I do like to do 3.5 or 4, so we are going to slowly cast on 30 stitches. So do a chain 30, not cast on is knit, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 15, 16, 18, 20, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, and then 31. So you have an actual 30 stitches. Okay, so now you're gonna, I should say, I'm also using Bernat Yarn Inspirations, and this is the floral prints. You won't use all of this. This is just basically some leftover yarn. So basically you're going to go in right here in the back of the chain, underneath that first one, around, pull through, and pull through both. And then you repeat. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to keep going, and I will pause you, and we will be right back. So here we are back at the end of the row. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and you're going to ignore that first spot, and you're going to go into the second one. You're going to go, and that is your first single crochet for this row. And do that again all the way to the end. This is what you do. We'll continue a few more rows. We'll show how to do the end. We'll do this full row. How about that? And I did want to say, I hope today I have earned your like subscription. If you have a comment or a tip or trick, by all means leave it down below. I would love to learn any tips or tricks you know, like I do with putting my needles in my hair or putting the nail polish on to prevent it from rubbing off so you don't lose what number hook it is, because that would drive me insane. And hopefully today, like I said, I can earn that. Just keep going. We're almost to the end of the row. Like I said, you just keep going in the holes, wrap it around the hook, on the hook again, and pull through both loops. Put through the hole, wrap, wrap. There you go. Okay. Very close to the end. And what you want to do here is 1, 2, 3. Then this little guy is actually a stitch, so you want to go into him, and there's the end of your second row. Here, there's what it looks like. You're going to do this for about 17 inches. So I will come back when we are done that. Hello, here we are back again. Here it is, and I will show you the measurement. So it's a little bit over 17, which is fine. I don't mind that. So I'm going to that way. And then we will trim this one. And now I will darn up both sides. So we are done with the floral prints. But next one we will do for the border, we will use white. So it is just cotton, Bernat Handcrafters cotton. I'm pretty sure I got it at Walmart. Pretty sure it was $12.99. Right, I'm just gonna sit down. And now go in here. And then you want to go in there, behind that stitch, go in that stitch, and I like to come back, and that way it should not pull out. So there's that. And then we'll do this side. And then I will show you one round border. I will probably pause again. So we do that. Under stitch, under that stitch, and then go backwards. I mean, you can keep going. I just find doing about 4 or 5 is usually a good idea. Out, grab that, throw it out, and now we are ready to start the border. And so, right there, this is the white cotton from Bernat. And cotton is really good for hand towels because cotton is absorbent. So that's why I've tried to make sure my hand towels all have 100% cotton in them. That way when I change them and I move them around, they are still absorbent. My husband can get them nice and dirty when he gets home every day, and I just change it out for the next pair. So you just keep going. Now what you want to do when you get into a corner is you will be doing something slightly different than just single crochet along the edge. And basically I'm looking for each hole, which was a row. So you just kind of go in each and every row. If you have any tips or tricks you would like me to do, as I said, by all means comment below. This is the Simple Hand Towel. Thursday I will be doing a little more intricate of a hand towel. We did the R&D for it on Sunday. So I'm very happy to come and bring this pattern. Or as I like to just say, stitch. I usually pick a stitch and I'll do that for the whole towel. And that way, it's a great learning tool because it's something somewhat smaller. You can do it. I've been doing this in about 2.5 hours. So you take a new stitch and you teach yourself in a couple of hours a new stitch. You have a really nice hand towel for your bathroom. And you'll taught yourself something new. Which, in all honesty, the only reason you're not good at something most times is because you just don't know how to do it. All it takes is learning. Notice the yarn split there, and I don't want that, so I go back, or what else, or what we use the term as frogging. I don't know why it's called frogging. I know how it got named that, because when you pull it out, or you rip it out, rivet, that somehow evolved into frogging. So we use the term frogging for ripping out work until you go back and you like what you've done. I only had to frog one stitch because the stitch was split. The yarn had split on me, so I just only did that. And now we're going down. And I also don't like to knit my hand towels. I don't find that they're thick enough. I do like the way a crocheted hand towel is thicker, giving you a little bit more material to absorb the moistness of your hands when you're drying your hands. So we are coming up to a corner. You're going to do when we get there, you are going to do 3 in the same stitch to go around the corner. So this one right here, you're going to go 1, 2, 3. And then just follow your stitches across this way. Sun's peeking out. So you're going to go across each hole again, just as you would when you were growing it, to make it 17 inches. Just go across, stitch by stitch by stitch, but when you get to the end, instead of turning, you're going to do 3. When I start them, I do actually like to start on the side for reasons you'll see when it's very clear to see the edge when you're coming up to the end of the first row, which I'll show you when we get there. You're coming up to the edge of this row, so now it'll be this one. We do 3 again. 1, 2, 3. So move the work and go in each hole again. Just keep going. Single crochet all the way around. That's another good reason to use a variegated yarn if you're not going to decorate this at all. You have a nice built-in pattern, so you don't really have to worry. I do usually like to put some form of embellishment on. Adds a bit of weight to the drape effect as it falls down. And it adds a little bit of technical skill to it. I also like the fact that then I can learn something new if I want to do a new pattern or something like a butterfly or Halloween motif, which is the only thing I have done with glow-in-the-dark yarn so far, so I'm very excited for next Tuesday, a week from now. But coming up to the last, the 4th line, so the 3rd corner. And because I started it right after the 4th corner, you know you're getting close to the end of the row. So, now, and it's all just a basic, simple single crochet stitch, as I've said. Very easy, very simple, very basic, but you will know you did it yourself. And I have washed these cotton ones. They do actually handle the washer and the dryer just fine. So the first one hand towel I did this year is Easter one. I have not been doing hand towels for very, very long, but I really do like how they're designed. I like that they're not very holey because I really don't like that. I want a nice, tight, solid towel, truthfully. Decorated a little bit, but something that is going to absorb the water off of my hand. So I definitely like to have a nice, thick cotton. That's why I like the Bernat Handcrafters. It is a nice thick cotton to work with. I don't find cotton hurts me. I know some people will say that. I do not have a problem with that. I also can grab my tension anyway. I can grab my tension like that. I do that instinctively. I've been doing that for so many years. I can grab it like this, so that I'm just holding it. So that if it's usually around a knot and it's getting tighter on me and I don't want it to be a tight tension, I will tend to grab it. So when I'm casting off is a good time to change my tension. So now we are at the end of the third row, third corner. 1, 2, 3. Now we'll turn. And we just have to go there, and our first row is done. And then I will continue the same way. So going around each corner, adding 3. You just decide where you want to place the increase. I usually find where it is. You can see it. So right there, you can see it when you come in. You either want to do that one or that one. I usually make the decision as going along, but one of the two, you add 3 into it, and you just keep going along. Right there. Want to get the second bar. Just keep going. Now, this is my cast on row. So this one usually ends up being a little bit tighter. So you do kind of want to work with it a little bit. And if you do find you're having just problems, there's always a really easy tool. That, of course, now it becomes easier for me to grab. So what I'll do is I will grab a 3mm. And you want to go in there, grab it, pull it through, and then switch to the hook you're working with. And that way, you're just pulling it through with a smaller hook. And you're still able to keep going. So this way, it's an easy way, especially on this first cast on row. Cast on row is always going to be your longest first row. And you will find that your first row is always the longest. Always takes the longest. Even when you're going around an outer border, that first row always takes the longest. It's always the most tedious. But once you get through it, the rest is pretty easy. And then there are many, many, many different ways to decorate this, but like I said, I like to try and do something like this. Just a nice little floral border, something small if I can. And that way it doesn't interfere with drying your hands. Or I did these little cute Easter bunny ones that had ears that were not attached, like they're attached to the hand towel, but they flopped out so you could really see them almost in 3-dimensional. I'm sure around Easter I will do a video doing them, showing the first one and then doing more. So this will be your 3. So here's your 4th one. 1, 2, 3. Now always remember, it will grow in between these 2 stitches. You're adding stitches each row, so it will actually add stitches. Spit on me. Go through. 1, 2. And if you want to use a stitch holder, this would be the part where you can put it right here. I can see clearly. I know exactly where my row starts, so I don't necessarily use them. I've done them enough times, though I do know that a lot of people do recommend using them. I only try to use them when I'm complicated, intricate, advanced patterns, intermediate, if you want to call it that. I like to do patterns like that, and then I will amigurumi. That is a definite good one to use a stitch marker for. But I will come back at the end and I will show you the finished product. So, welcome. Here is the hand towel. I got it all finished. As you can see, Willow has joined us behind me, like normal. And this is Canadian Yarn Heart. Thank you for joining me. I hope you liked this. I've earned your like to subscription today. Have a great day.